few months ago I made a video on my journey through NoFap. Well, my first time really going through it was in, I think it was like March of this year. Since then it's been about 4 months, and I've continued right the way through. I've had a few times where I've relapsed. I've had an experience using an app which they used for tracking your days on NoFap, and after doing that I can safely say that I wouldn't recommend it to any of you who are joining me on NoFap. I'd say the best time was over the last like 3 months was when I didn't have any kind of app. I've got some stuff that I wrote down that's I'm thinking is basically to do with it. I'm going to go into another video that's specifically on NoFap, but this video is going to be on aggression. So about 4 days ago, in my work, we were basically just closing up my work. I work at a shopping centre, and there was basically one of the elderly members of staff was closing one of the doors, and it was the last door that they were going to be closing for the night. And basically 3 young boys were asking to come in to go through to the other side of the shopping centre, and the old lady was saying, well, they're closed so you can't go through, and saying no. I was watching this whole thing happen, and it went on for like a good couple of minutes, and after a few minutes there was this lady who had discovered a 40-year-old drunk, glasses, Karen look, the whole shebang, right? Basically comes along and chest barge is the old lady out of the way. The doors fly open, and then the 3 boys came in. I started walking down there, right? Wrote down a bit more information about this, so I'm just going to read this out, right? So yeah, it was a 40-year-old woman. There was 3 kids in the centre when we were just closing for the night. I was irate. I had chills on the back of my neck. I opened the door. When I got there, I opened the door because it had been closed. I opened the door because I could see her outside after everyone had left, just a few minutes after they'd like pushed their way in. I went up to her and told her what I thought of what I'd seen from what had happened. I argued with her like I'd never done before. I had so much belief in myself, so much conviction. Halfway through, she in a way threatened me, and I said, "Is that a threat?" I was ruthless and just in my actions. I had chills on the back of my neck. I felt angry, but proud of myself for standing up for a 61-year-old woman. Is this what a man is? Yes. After she threatened me and I responded, her eyes changed. She began to look like a schoolgirl being told off by a teacher. I was the teacher now. Wow. She lied and said she didn't do what I saw her do. I lost it. I swore. I made her feel small. I told her I saw the whole thing. I told her it was totally unacceptable behaviour, and as I always seem to do in a weird way, I said, "Have a good night," when she left. What a polite and savage, ruthless young man I am. I loved every second of the instant, and this is why I must tell you this. This is not normal behaviour for me. I used to be very timid and reserved and particularly avoided conflict. I didn't like getting involved with any of that kind of stuff. It's just very, I don't know, kind of maybe a bit nervous, didn't want to step on anyone's toes, didn't want to, make a scene or anything like that. And I feel like in this position it was totally correct to call this woman out and make her and really embarrass her for doing something that was totally unacceptable, especially considering how old she was and how old the lady was that she'd just charged into, more or less. Yeah, I more or less just want to make that clear. What are the key points we can take away from this? Aggression is basically the boundary between society currently and degeneracy and anarchy. If you want any kind of real world where there's kind of um, civil, I don't know, how do you even describe it? People are very respectful, things work in a certain way, very orderly, or if you want, yeah, basically so that it stays like that, so it doesn't result in anarchy, just chaos afterwards, just no law and order, no respect for anyone, very harsh environments, um, up and down in frequency, just very, very difficult to predict environment. You don't. That's generally what I'm saying we should be trying to avoid. Um, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I got off on the fact that this woman left. Literally, might as well have had her tail between her legs and a lot quieter than when I originally saw her. She was humbled and humiliated in proper just fashion, and I just like the reason I mentioned this story is because I think it's a terrific example of aggression from a young man. I've never been like this before. I'm not saying it's all down to the point I mentioned originally, the not fapping, but it has to have something to do with it. Over the last like 4 months since I've been on NoFap, I've probably relapsed about like maybe 8 times, maybe six. I don't know. I just feel like that's a good result from aggression and what we can hope to see. And I don't know. It just felt like, because I felt like this woman was just, I don't know. She lied. She lied to me when I'd seen the whole thing happen, and it was just really good to, I don't know, let stuff out. Usually I would hold things back a lot, and it would just kind of fester in me, or I would regret not saying something, or they'd get away with something, and then you wouldn't bring it back up because it was so long ago, or I don't know, I feel like a bitch, like you'd feel like a bitch. This is the type of person we all want to be as a young man growing up in this world, defending others, getting chills from it and all. I think that's the key points that I really have. I don't know if it's particularly all down to NoFap, or if there's some other factors that are going into it. But I'll do a particular video on NoFap and what exactly I've been experiencing recently. But this is just my opinion on the aggression that I've seen recently, and we can hope for more of this. Because if we don't have this kind of, I don't know, framework for how things work, if people aren't afraid of pushing boundaries, doing things that are unacceptable, then there's no reason why they won't. These sort of people, it just ends up with people not having any kind of life for themselves, theft, being pushed around. I don't know. You've seen it. It's bully tactics. Stuff like that. It just gets out of hand very quickly unless there's a firm action made. And I feel like that's what I did in this situation, which I'm actually quite proud of myself, because I honestly, I really am a very reserved person. I don't usually get involved with a lot of different things, and I didn't have to in this one either. But I was fucking furious. I was absolutely furious, and I felt so proud of myself for well, like getting involved in the situation and standing up for this lady. But yeah, I think that's the key points to take away from this. Hope this was interesting, and at least maybe somebody can relate to it. But yeah, all right, have a good one.